Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch and welcome to my studio. Today we're gonna paint a beautiful and very tender dandelion, the white dandelion, the final part of dandelion blossoming, which is a little bit tricky because it's so fluffy, so tender, so many white tiny little details, and at the end we will get a very lovely picture. To start painting dandelion, I will water the round area around my dandelion button. I just wiggling my brush and I use dusty shades of different greens, ultramarine, and if you see, I put more hues around on the edges of the flower, and I leave the middle part almost white, and I go for some variety, a little bit more greenish somewhere, a little bit more lavender. It's basically done just for variety. I want to keep some area just white, and you will see why. So this is our first dandelion bud. I want to make it's a bit intense in some places, so I use ultramarine in a little bit drier condition, and just leave some small dots around. And if I think, for example, here it is a little bit too intense, I just remove unnecessary color with my dry and clean brush. Here will be a half opened bud, and I again use my mixture of green and ultramarine, and with the tip of the brush, just with the tip of the brush, I paint more like strokes here, and sometimes I just drag out the color, and I mix it with hints of lavender, and I think some violet would be also lovely here. You see, it's quinacridone rose, very diluted, and I like it so much, so I'm going to add few drops, few spots in the main bud, and to make it looks nice, I do it just very randomly. Even you could use a paper towel, remove a little bit of colors from the middle, and add more intense colorations to the edges. Now I let this part dry. Now it looks like it looks a bit weird, no worries. Now we are going to paint the greenery part. I use my green, bright green, and again I diluted it with ultramarine, but in the proportion that ultramarine is just a little. And I will start with this bud. I will paint the bottom greenery. And dandelions, they have a lot of separate parts, which I'm showing here. I paint mostly like with strokes, and with one go I'm painting the stem. I think would be nice to add some variety. Always nice to add a hint of yellowish color to dandelions, like this. and I'm going to paint. This one is still wet. We need to dry this completely, so I am painting this one. This one will be more closed, so I with the tip of the brush I go in the direction of the bud, painting all these green parts and the stem with one go. And on the top I would like to add some of our ultramarinish, pinkish hint. It should be very diluted, tender and fluffy. And to make it fluffy, I wash my brush, I clean my brush with a paper towel, and with wiggling moves I distribute everything, and I add hints of greenery rose. See how beautiful it looks. I will be back to the other bud. I want to add some tiny strokes around, and I like how all our colors combine with each other here. So I'm going to leave it like this, and I hope our main part is almost dry. Now I'm painting the middle, and for the middle I'm mixing oxide red with a little bit of green to make this greenish brownish middle. With the tip of the brush I paint the middle pestle of dandelion. It's more likely painting dots, if you could see. I will leave it like this and add some blue hint here. This is nice. And now I'm going to paint the stem. It's always a little bit exciting. With the tip of the brush, preferably in one go, and trying to keep the same pressure, just like this. It's possible to make some corrections, but be careful, do not make the stem too thick. Our flowers should look elegant and delicate, and that's why I want to remove a little bit from the middle. Just with the tip of dry and clean brush I remove some hints from the middle of the stem. And now starts the fun part. I'm taking my thinner brush, and now I'm painting mostly with oxide red, a little bit mixed with green color. I'm going to paint these seeds just with random, very light pressure. I am trying to put some seeds, and the more variety you will add, the better. A little bit more green, a little bit more brown, just like this. And now I want to make it very tender. and I'm mixing ultramarine blue and green color, and just in a few places I'm carefully painting the small stem here, there. Don't paint them straight, it should be nicely curved, and then you will get this nice tender feeling. I want to make it a little bit more diluted, and now I'm painting this fluffy edge, and I'm painting it also randomly in some areas, and sometimes I mix it with different colors, with quinacridone rose, for example, to make it really unique, different, playful. I could play around with the tip of the brush, just creating some random shapes and flowers, but only around the edge. For example, a little bit of quinacridone rose looks lovely, and it adds some nice contrast. I'm not touching this area, and you will see why. I think this is nice enough, and now I'm going to paint these small seeds which will fly from our dandelion. I will start with our brownish mixture, and first I will make the direction for these flying seeds, for these flying elements. It's just what's important to keep in mind, that they all should fly into one direction, not like different directions. This will be the direction, and within this direction you really could just imagine how they fly. They might be a little bit more curvy. They could be this one is a little bit too thick. I will remove and paint again with more careful with the tip of the brush, so now you could see the whole picture. I think around maybe 7-9 seeds is a nice amount. Try to make it chaotically, randomly, some different directions, just like this. Now, to make it more interesting, now I'm taking just oxide red and go around some areas to add some different shades, for example like this. And you remember at the ends of these seeds, they are heavier, and there is actually the seed of sunflower attached to this parachute, so we need to show this. And next part is just painting the flowers. The middle I will a little bit make a close-up. The middle is more bright. Then I wash my brush and I drag out the color right from the middle in these strokes. I'm trying to make it fluffy and make random thickness and random saturation for this. One is ready. Let's do another one. Again, middle is very bright, and with clean and almost dry brush I just drag out the color from the middle. Maybe a little bit more intense. It could be a little bit more intense, or a little bit less intense, but you could play around. It's important to find your tempo, how you do this, and so everything looks really fluffy. So let's do the rest. So we are done with these small flying seeds, and let's see what some little tiny details we could add at the very end. For example, I definitely could see one more of these tiny little parachutes just here. Oops. Same technique, maybe a little bit more careful because we are painting already over watercolor background, so no need to make it too intense, just like this. And I will, for the structure, I will add more of strokes, but with very diluted bluish color to show the volume, to show the this fluffiness of the flower. It should be very tender. And what else we could add? I'm mixing ultramarine blue, quinacridone rose. It's more like just for fun and final touches. I'm adding small dots where the central part of where this fluffy part connects with the seed, and a little bit around it makes everything vivid, more interesting. I think this is nice. I will make one final touch here. And now I see that what I forgot is actually green leaves around. That's why I left a little bit of the area. I'm taking the green color and oxide red and tip of the brush, with the tip of the brush and then belly of the brush, was too much water, tip of the brush, belly of the brush, tip of the brush. I'm painting some greenery in the bottom of the flower. Yes, now we are talking. Now we are talking about dandelions, and the same as here. Not too much. 1 or 2 green petals here, green leaves here. Tip of the brush, belly of the brush, tip of the brush. I want to a little bit to correct this. It's too bright to my taste, and just with the greenish green, I want to add some details and strokes to these green leaves and more texture to the pastel. Just with tip of the brush I'm adding some dots, and I emphasize a little bit the stem here on the top, and that's basically it. This is our picture with dandelions. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was inspiring and easy, and I'm looking forward to see your pictures on Instagram. Tag me, olga.koelsch. Subscribe my channel, leave your feedback. It means a lot. Thank you so much.